Look at this timeline. For a 24-year-old man named Marco, the present moment was almost non-existent. His cognitive bandwidth was consumed by a mental storm, dragged backward by past regrets, and pulled forward by anxiety about the future. Marco traveled to a remote village in the hills to find a retired psychologist. He arrived expecting a deep clinical evaluation or a complex medical intervention to quiet his mind. Instead, the old man handed him a glass filled to the absolute brim, where even a slight tremor would cause it to spill. Marco had to carry this glass through the village, past barking dogs and shouting shopkeepers, returning without spilling a drop. The immediate physical fragility of the water forced a shift in Marco's brain. The task required such high-fidelity monitoring that his usual internal loops about the past and future were temporarily suspended by the demands of his hands. Marco returned to the porch with the glass still full. When the old man asked what he thought of the barking dogs and the playing children, Marco could only shake his head. He hadn't heard or seen any of them. His attention had been entirely on the water. This chart illustrates how our attention works as a finite resource. When the present task expands to meet a high-stakes demand, it physically displaces fear and distraction. We can apply this through a 3-step guide. Step 1 is selecting your anchor. You need a specific, high-stakes physical focus. Step 2 is narrowing vision. You build a perimeter to deflect intrusive thoughts. Step 3 is executing micro-actions. You focus entirely on the mechanics of the next single movement and the one after that. Inner peace in a chaotic environment isn't about finding a quiet room. It's about engineering an internal focus so demanding that the external noise loses its ability to register. This maps directly to your daily routine. Habit 1 is the mindful pour. Take a mundane action, like pouring coffee or brushing your teeth, and treat it with the same physical reverence Marco gave his glass. Monitor the weight, the sound, and the motion. Habit 2 is the blindfold protocol. Since we lack the physical glass, we have to remove digital triggers. Put the phone in another room and close your extra browser tabs to simulate that narrowed visual field. Habit 3 is the spilled drop reset. When a distracting thought inevitably slips in, don't focus on the failure. Acknowledge the lost drop, stabilize your posture, and return your attention to the anchor. In high-stress work, you scale this by grounding yourself physically. Take a deep breath to anchor your body, then slice massive projects into single-step increments that you can manage with singular focus. Look at this comparison. When you are overwhelmed at your desk, identify your glass of water and your barking dogs. The single email draft in front of you is the glass. The chaotic notifications in the background are the dogs. The solution to workplace paralysis is treating complex digital tasks with the same singular focus as carrying a brimming glass across a busy street. Marco left the village with his mind quieted. He hadn't changed his past or solved his future, but he had learned the mechanical process of inhabiting the present. Peace is an internal state we find when we strictly inhabit the present moment. It is a result of how we manage our attention. This graphic, the Marco method, maps out the framework we've covered. Use these 4 sections to reset your focus when your environment gets loud. To recap, set your anchor, narrow your vision, and execute in micro-actions. Use the mindful pour to practice, the blindfold protocol to protect space, and the spilled drop reset. Apply this glass of water strategy to the very next task you do today. Subscribe to the channel for more strategies on